Yeah, what's up guys? I'm Raga.
And I'm Brad.
And today we got a fun little trick tip for you. We're gonna just take two very basic tricks and bring them together in one, and that is
the Darkslide with an added back roll into it.
And Brad here, he's actually got a fun little hack, a fun little intermediate step, a little tip along the way to help you learn this one if you're scared of doing the kite loops with your Darkslides. So let's dive into this one, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess leading into this one, obviously you should know how to do a Darkslide and you should know how to do a back roll, correct?
Correct. It's bonus points if you can do a back roll with a kite loop, but if you're a little intimidated on that, we'll have a tip for you as well on how to help kind of bridge that gap and make it over that hurdle.
And we have tons of footage of Darkslides, so if you want to give them your perspective on how to do a Darkslide, I'll let you take the lead in this one and you can break it down for everybody.
Cool. As far as going into a Darkslide goes, speed and power are definitely your friend for making them stylish and making them prolonged. Not saying you can't start by doing them short, but the faster you go into them and the more consistent power you have in your kite, the longer you can make them and the better they look. As far as going into them, typically I'll go into them with a medium-high board speed. With my kite probably around a little bit below 40 degrees, or a little bit below 45 degrees. And as you go into the trick, start slowly ascending your kite and you'll start to feel a little bit of lift. From there, it's just rolling onto your toe side edge and finding that balance of kite movement and bar pull to keep yourself sliding over the surface without going too high and coming off, but also going too slow and kind of sinking into the water. So it is a little bit of a tricky balance to meet, but once you get it, it feels really good and really slick. Other tips that can help your Darkslide is your trick is basically over once the kite passes about 12 o'clock to the opposite side of wherever it came from. From that point, it's going to be about time to pull your landing loop, otherwise it'll be very hard to come out of it with power. So the longer you can keep that kite kind of on that frontal side that you're riding towards without having to send it past 12 to keep you up, the longer your slide will be and the better it'll feel.
So then obviously next, you should know basic back rolls.
Right.
And I mean, just a quick recap on back rolls. It's pretty straightforward. You just pop off the water for a regular jump, look over your front shoulder, the body's gonna follow the head, and you wanna keep typically front hand pressure, but really the only change up here is it's backhand pressure instead. You're taking the front hand off. You can even just take your front hand off immediately, actually.
One thing that actually might help you for this trick as a prerequisite would be a back roll hand drag.
Yes.
Very similar trick, it's just instead of dragging the hand, you're dragging your board instead, and it's merging that Darkslide and back roll a little bit more.
Yeah, basically all of these tricks where you're using the kite to swing underneath it, it's all the same body of trick. It's actually all the same trick, which is funny because there's
just a million variations of what you can do.
Hundreds of variations of this exact same trick. It's really just getting the timing down so you can practice hand drags, you can practice Darkslides, practice them all. Just get that repetition in and just get used to swinging under the kite and then pulling a late loop at the end, and then you'd be surprised at what you can add to it.
Those tricks can aspire to barefoot skis, Jesus walks. They all follow the same principle kite movement.
It's all the same
just
trick.
Adding more things in while you're doing that prolonged slide.
Exactly. So you had a little hack here to help people learn. What is your big tip to bridge the Darkslide into the back roll?
So this one, most people can be really intimidated by doing a kite loop, especially when you're backwards during a trick. And typically during this trick, the loop will start to be initiated while you're still not really all the way around. One of the ways I was able to learn this trick quite quickly and also with pretty safe crashes, I would say, is you don't have to do the loop right away. If you're okay with doing the slide, trying to throw the rotation, and then just slowly sending the kite to the other side, you can just stop sending the kite once you make it around. You don't have to finish the loop. You probably won't ride out, but you'll be able to do the slide. You'll get the feel of the rotation and how the board is interacting with the water now that it's spinning. And once you make it around, you'll probably just slowly sink into the water. So it can be an easy way to avoid some pretty harsh crashes from kite loops until you feel that you've got the slide and the rotation pretty on lock. If you have quite a lot of power, A lot of sliding tricks can be finished with a pretty aggressive dive, but you do need to be on a pretty heavily powered side to do that, and you still probably won't ride out with the most speed and style. But those can be kind of building steps towards eventually pulling that loop, and with most looping tricks, the tighter you pull the loop, the less pull it will have and the more controlled it will be. Definitely more pull is better for loops versus less.
So let's I guess let's just talk about the timing on this one. You're basically doing your dark slide, and then as you pull the loop, you're using the momentum from the loop to roll against, correct?
So for me, when I actually do this trick, my rotation will be initiated before I even pull the loop.
So you pop the rotation before you pull the loop. You want to talk about that?
As I pop and then that tail of the board starts skidding over the water, I'll start looking over my back shoulder and kind of letting my front shoulder rather, and let my back shoulder start to fall. So I'm becoming my back is almost towards the water and the edge of the board is still dragging. And then as I'm coming around and the kite is reaching about 12 o'clock and getting around that time where it's time to commit to that loop to come out of the trick without sinking, I'll be probably about 2/3 to 3/4 around, and that loop just kind of finishes the rotation off, and then I ride out the same direction that I came in.
Sounds a lot like the same timing for like a back to revert.
Yep, pretty close.
So if you know the back to revert, you're doing a late pop, you're basically doing half a back roll while you're still on the water.
Yep.
So that might be a good way to help people kind of key in their minds to try this one.
Yep, you're just initiating that rotation as you're sliding. It can be a little scary, and that's why I said that you don't have to do the loop for your very first attempts. Just go ahead and throw a dark slide, try to rotate, and then just stop your kite once it reaches the edge of the window. You'll sink into the water, but the crashes are always very minimal on that, especially if you're in deep enough water and there's no hazards nearby. You're very safe.
Well, we're hitting the 8-minute mark. You got anything else you want to add to this one?
That's about it.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you guys found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Any questions, drop them in the comment section, and we'll catch you next time.
Till next time.